The first vibration was faint, a short, clipped buzz against my thigh just as the fork touched my lips. Thanksgiving laughter echoed around the table, her family's laughter, not mine. Crystal glasses chimed, plates scraped. I kept chewing, slow, steady, pretending nothing had changed. But I felt the shift, that message. I knew it wasn't supposed to arrive tonight. Across the table, my wife glanced at me. Just for a second. Too fast, too nervous. Her eyes didn't match her smile. I'd learned to read her tells, small ones she thought she hid well. Another buzz, this time longer. I didn't move. Her father, the CEO, was mid-boast, retelling the same story about building an empire with discipline, the one he rotated between boardrooms and bourbon lounges. The same one my wife pretended to admire. Then he said it, the line he'd been practicing. "Still playing with your little investments?" He laughed, stabbing a piece of turkey, glancing at the others for approval. Everyone smirked, even her. I swallowed the bite, stayed silent. The phone buzzed again, urgent, almost panicked. My heart stayed quiet. Her father leaned back, satisfied with himself. "Some men aim higher," he said. His eyes flicked to my wife. "Some women expect it." I looked at her. She looked away. 3 vibrations now. A pattern I recognized. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. And as the room swelled with empty laughter, I felt it. The thin film of reality tearing. Whatever had been hidden was coming undone. The first message was from an unknown number. "We need to talk. It's about her." I kept my breathing controlled. The second, I didn't know she was married. My fork paused mid-air. The room blurred at its edges. My wife reached for her wine, fingers trembling slightly. Her lips pressed together in a way I'd only seen when she lied. I lowered my gaze to the plate, kept eating. The third message arrived. "I can send proof. Tell me when." A cold weight settled in my chest. Not shock, not fear. Something quieter, heavier. Like a truth I'd already accepted, finally asking to be seen. Because I'd felt it for months. The strange late-night calls, the sudden weekend work trips, the scent of a cologne I didn't own lingering on her coat. I had asked once, casually. She'd laughed too much, touched my cheek too softly. Her father's voice broke through my thoughts, loud and self-assured. "Success requires loyalty," he said, "and loyalty requires strength." Interesting choice of words. My wife's hand brushed mine under the table, sudden, almost desperate, a gesture for normalcy, for control. I didn't move. Her eyes flicked to me, searching, analyzing, calculating. She could sense something was shifting, but she didn't know what. Not yet. She excused herself moments later, just a call. Her steps were too quick. Her father shook his head with practiced disappointment. "She gets that from her mother," he muttered. "Drama." I stared at the doorway she'd disappeared through. My suspicions weren't new. Tonight just confirmed them. Evidence was coming. And I was ready to see the truth. I slipped my phone into my lap, angling the screen away from curious eyes. My reply was short. Send everything. The images came first. Blurry but undeniable. Her entering a hotel lobby, hand in hand with a man I didn't recognize. Then clearer photos. Their faces too close. Her smile, the real one, the one she stopped showing me 2 years ago. Then the message. She told me you two were separating. I didn't want to be involved. I inhaled slowly, letting the truth settle. Not shattering, just confirming. Her sister laughed loudly at something the CEO said. A cousin clinked glasses. The world kept spinning, unaware that something delicate had broken in the quiet space between heartbeats. I typed back, "How long?" His response was instant. About 8 months. 8 months. Calculations formed automatically. Dates, behaviors, unexplained absences. Patterns aligning like puzzle pieces I'd ignored out of convenience. Another message. I didn't know she was the CEO's daughter until last week. After that, she avoided me. Of course she did. Survival instinct. She only stayed loyal to power. I studied the table, the expensive cutlery, the curated smiles, the illusion of a family built on dominance, control, and image. I fit here only as long as I played the part. My wife re-entered the room, face flushed. She scanned the table until her gaze landed on me. She saw it. A stillness in my posture she didn't recognize. Her breath caught. I smiled faintly, polite, unreadable. She took her seat, didn't speak. Didn't touch her wine. Her father raised a toast. People applauded. She stared at me as though trying to detect cracks. Inside, the storm circled quietly, deliberate, measuring its moment. I didn't confront, didn't react. I simply observed, every gesture, every flicker of panic beneath her carefully practiced mask. The truth was already in my hands. I only needed to decide what to do with it. The final message arrived as dessert was served. DNA test attached. My chest tightened, not with fear, but with absolute clarity. I'd sent hair samples weeks ago, quietly, after noticing how my daughter's eyes didn't match mine, or hers. A discrepancy masked by hope until tonight. I opened the report. The world narrowed to a single line. Probability of paternity, 0%. Everything inside me slowed, solidified. I folded the napkin, set it beside my plate, turned to my wife. "Walk with me," I said softly. Something inside her broke at those 3 words. She followed me out to the hallway, steps small, hesitant. I handed her my phone, opened to the report, the photos, the messages. Her face drained of color. Her lips parted, but no sound came. I didn't speak, just watched. Shaking, she choked out, I can explain." "No," I whispered. "You can't." Tears formed. She reached for me. I stepped back. Her breath hitched. "Please, please don't do this here, not in front of my family." But that was the part she never understood. This wasn't about humiliation. It was about truth. Silent, cold, irrefutable truth, delivered with the same precision she used to lie. We returned to the dining room. Everyone turned when we entered. Her father frowned, sensing the shift. I stood behind my chair, calmly. "You asked earlier if I was still playing with my little investments?" I said. He smirked. "Just a joke." I nodded. "Then, here's another." I placed my phone on the table, pressed play. A recording. His daughter's voice, laughing with the other man, discussing hotel bookings. And the DNA report image beside it. Silence. Immediate. Heavy. Her father's expression collapsed into something raw and unfamiliar. My wife sank into her chair, face buried in her trembling hands. I remained still. "It's interesting," I said, "how loyalty requires strength." His own words, delivered back to him with surgical precision. He couldn't look at me, couldn't look at her. I picked up my jacket, buttoned it slowly. Then I looked at her one last time. Not with anger, not with pity. Just clarity. "You made your choices," I said. "Now you can live with them." And I walked out. The cold air outside felt cleansing, quiet, honest. My phone buzzed behind me, her messages, her calls, her desperate apologies. I didn't answer. I kept walking. Streetlights passed like slow, deliberate heartbeats. My thoughts finally settled into a calm, calculated stillness. 8 months of lies. 1 year of distance. A lifetime of pretending. All undone in a single evening. I didn't feel anger. Not anymore. Just release. Like stepping out of a room filled with stale air. People think betrayal destroys you. It doesn't. It clarifies you. By the time I reached the end of the block, everything that once felt heavy no longer belonged to me. My final thought was simple, cold, and absolute. I didn't lose anything tonight. I just stopped carrying what was never mine.